Let's start with UNH. This has been the talk of the week here. There have been people making life-changing money on the downside. There are people preparing to make life-changing money on the upside. What do you see here in the charts? The big thing that I've been saying, Mark, my thought on trading this one is I'm not much of a short guy. Obviously, we had some news here that led to some pretty obvious downside and some puts that you could have taken. But the next, what I've been saying this week is let's do the Wayne Gretzky approach. Let's skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is today. What's next here for UNH? What do the charts tell you?
I mean, I would think there's going to be some support around 200,
okay,
which is pretty substantially below where we are now. Like accounting scandal or the CEO quits. Who knows? This is really, in my opinion, just a gamble at this point because it could get down to 200 and then some new news could come out. And I don't know, maybe at some point the company's big enough that the government goes in there and has a too big to fail type of thing. But to me, the stock right now is really just a gamble. I would be afraid to be in it on either side, actually. I would probably be in on the short side still, but like you said before, I think most of the money's been made.
Okay.
Most of the easy money.
So that's exactly what I was saying. So I think like on the downside here, most of the easy money has been made. The next thing for me is playing the upside. The way that I personally am doing this is waiting for the bottom to be confirmed. I don't need to pick the dead bottom. I'll give up several points if I have to, whatever. I just want to know that bottom is in because the catching the falling knife is definitely going to get me in trouble.
One thing we'd want to watch here really carefully is the volume. And I usually don't pay too much attention to volume. But what we could look for is what we would call like a capitulation. And you could certainly argue that we're in those stages right now. Okay. Just judging by the volume. Look at how much volume has traded here. This thing averages probably.
I can actually tell you here. You know what? You're going to have, let me pull up the average numbers on one of my other windows here, Mark, and I'll give that to you. And so the 100-day average for UNH is 10.2 million shares.
Okay. So over the past couple of days, it looks like it's traded about 200 million. So eventually, when the selling runs out, if people start to say, wait a second, this scandal is really not as bad as we thought, the headline numbers were, or the headlines were misleading, I'm going to go in there and buy. And it's like, hey, there's no one left to buy from because all the sellers have been washed out. And then you can get a pretty serious spike on the upside as the buyers start to outbid each other. So it could be a potential capitulation. I would say just be careful because I don't know enough about the news, but I do know from my experience, whenever you hear like accounting fraud, it's like, if it's legitimate news, the stock could be at $10 in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I
am so glad that you said that. So, okay, let me actually assign some numbers. This is a great conversation right now. Let me assign some numbers to this. I just told you that the 100-day average was 10.2 million shares of volume per day. Now that 100-day average calculation does include the last 3 days, which were outside. So it was probably a smidge lower than that, but let's write that off for right now. Let's just call it 10.2. On Tuesday, the stock traded 60 million shares. On Wednesday, the stock traded 40 million shares. And yesterday, the stock traded 122 million shares. So we're talking 200 plus million shares when the average is 10 million a day in 3 days. So is that capitulation? I guess that's the question. I guess that's the question here. One more thing. We've been talking all morning about Wall Street adages. Pete bringing up one of the best. The famous, it can't go any lower. How many times have you heard that with UNH? Yes. As a matter of fact, it can. I joke around and say, when people say it can't go lower, just remember that it can go lower. Okay, because yes, it can. And this is a really good point. I think we all forget this sometimes, especially when we're trying to play bounces, especially when we're trying to pick bottoms. No jokes, please. So I'm with you too on this, like really kind of rocketing to the upside. I think that's why a lot of people are trying to position long. Like you, I am not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure what it means long term. So what I would do in my defense is wait for the bottom to be confirmed on the chart, give up some of those points.